Also, before we start, I want to thank to these people that are always inspiring me to do this kind of things. I suppose that you know most of them, but Alan Kay, Brett Victor, Máximo Prieto is not here today, and Hernan Wilson. And okay, so today I'm going to talk about how to mock a mockingbird, and I suppose that you might be wondering what the title is about, and I won't reveal that yet, but I can tell you that this talk is about how thinking and technology relate. So to get started, let's see one of the main learning styles, that is auditory, and the idea is to experience this through an example. So suppose I hand you a guitar and teach you how to play, okay? You will learn how to place the right hand, the fingering of the left hand, how to pluck the strings, or how to get the guitar in tune. And what will happen is, at the beginning you will get good real fast, but as time goes by, you will be making progress more slowly, up to a point that we can say that you will almost feel stuck, okay? You will be playing the same things again and again. So I, as a teacher, come one day and ask you to learn and play this. Okay, the guitar part, for those who play some kind of music, doesn't sound that hard, but what if I ask you to play not only the guitar part, but the percussion also, okay? So you can say that I might be cheating because I taught you how to play guitar, not how to play percussion, but that is not right. What I did was I taught you how to play guitar from a fixed point of view, okay? And the focus I made was on hand techniques and arm placement and all that stuff. But imagine what will happen if, instead of I teaching you play the guitar, I taught you how to express yourself through the guitar, okay? Maybe the result is the same, and maybe not. But what seems impossible, I mean playing the guitar part and also the percussion part, is not from that perspective, okay? Take a look at this. Okay? See the difference? The things you learn determine the things you can do, okay? They narrow the scope. So if my focus is on hand technique, you will think that this is impossible, okay? If in the beginning I told you you will learn how to express yourself through guitar, things will be different, okay? And for me as a player, seeing this guy was like seeing the light, and I really understood what this guy was doing, okay? He's not using the guitar as a tool. He's expressing through the guitar. And this part specifically was when I find out that if you play guitar, this will hurt a little bit. You get the idea, okay? He doesn't care about the guitar, even though it's a very expensive one. He cares about expressing himself, okay? And what this guy did was to break free from those mental structures that we build when we first learn a skill, okay? And he was able to overcome that to be able to play the songs that he had in his head, okay? Let's go to the next learning style, which is visual. Probably the most famous one. And the challenge here is to test how good visual learners we are, is to remember this list of 20 words, okay? So if you're ready, here I go. It goes carpet, paper, board, fish, chair, window, telephone, cigarette, nail, typewriter, shoe, microphone, pen, television set, plate, donut, car, coffee pot, and bricks. And time's up. So I don't have the time to do it, but if you're like me, you will try to read again and again this list, okay, in order to remember these words. But that just works like in a forward-only fashion, okay? If I ask you to tell this backwards, I suppose that will be difficult. Or if I ask you which word for pen, will be difficult too, okay? And lucky for us, this guy, Henry Lorraine, which is a memory master, when faced with this challenge in this book, okay, did this. I don't care about paper. What we're going to do is to find better representations to solve the challenge, okay? And the guy uses a technique he calls the link method of memory, and it works like this. The first word was carpet. So you have to pick a mental representation of a carpet, and the trick is that it must be a carpet you're familiar with, okay? And if you remember, I hope the second word was paper, okay? So to be able to remember that sequence, I have to link those images, okay? But the second rule is those images should be as ridiculous as possible. So maybe you want to imagine yourself writing on a carpet made of paper, okay? Or maybe you can imagine yourself walking on that carpet and hearing the paper clinker under your foot, okay? And seeing how it is changed, or I can't find the word, while you work on it, okay? And I did this example 8 years ago, and while doing looking for examples for the talk, I remember that, and I can say that I remember the 20 words, but I got like 5. So in a 8-year period, and having read the example like once or twice, I can say that it works, okay? And it works because he uses alive representations, not static ones, okay? The same principle works when you see a movie once and you are able to tell the movie to all your friends, okay? And for the third learning style, which is kinesthetic, these kind of learners are called doers, okay? They learn by doing. And the challenge I prepared is, assuming we all have the required math skills, is to model how birds fly, okay? So again, if you're like me, you go grab a big cup of coffee and try to do some crazy math, like this, after banging your head against the desk a couple of times, okay? And of course you can come up with a model that works, but I hope you by now are thinking that there should be a better representation to think about this problem, as the guy did with the guitar, and as Harry Lorraine did with the representation he used to remember the list of words, okay? And what about forgetting our logic mind and do something like this, okay? We're still using paper. We're still modeling how birds fly. For me, it's more fun like this. And we can experience by doing, okay, in a kinesthetic fashion. And you know how it works, okay? We throw the plane, let's see if it flies. If it doesn't, we make little changes to our model and try again. I assume that this is not going to work. Oh, yeah. And we can learn how birds fly in a different fashion, okay? In this case, we're using the same media, but in a different way. So let's do a quick summary of these 3 learning styles. The first one tells us that we are easily fooled by ourselves, by the things we learn in the first time, and the frame of mind that those things create. The second example was the one about the 20 list of words. Told us that the way we see things narrow the things we can do with that. Okay? If we think of paper as something to write on, we will go over and over the list again trying to remember, and we will lose that rich representations that Harry did. And the last one says that in order to break free and to think freely, maybe we can use the same media we have at hand, but in a different way, okay, as we did before. So it's obvious that I'm talking about paper. Media is paper here. And for sure, paper was important. The examples show that there are some thoughts that are not easily thought in paper, okay? But paper played a big role, and there are thoughts that were visible only with paper, and that thought was the ones we had in your mind when writing was born, okay? Paper allowed our thoughts to be visible, okay? Thoughts that in an oral culture maybe were not possible to think, okay? And obviously paper played a big role when the printing press kicks in the 19th century, and the revolution that was caused after that, mainly because paper was cheaper to manufacture. In particular, the Gutenberg press optimized that process, so more books were printed, more people had access to knowledge, more ideas was circulating around people, and what was did was to change the way people think, okay? People started to learning more, to thinking more, and to discussing more those ideas, okay? And a huge amount of people, I mean, not only the few ones who had access to books in that time. So one can argue that that was the revolution. Okay, the amount of books that were printed, technology in that time, pencils were cheaper, and all that kind of things. But this guy has another opinion. Okay, this guy is Marshall McLuhan, and his famous phrase or quote is "Medium is the message." Okay, and what that means is that the message a medium delivers is not the content it carries, okay? The message a medium sends, like the printing press, is the effect and the changes that medium cause on humanity, and on the way we think, on the way we relate, okay? So if we think of the printing press not as a book printing device, but as a medium, what is the message the printing press is sending? Okay, the one I just told you. Okay, people started to reading more, started to learning more, had access to knowledge, and as a consequence, people started to thinking better and discussing those ideas better. Okay, it changed humanity. So that. All these things are really interesting for someone, and for someone not. But the question is, how does this relate to our field? Okay. Okay. Well, the good news is that you already have a printing press in your pocket. Okay. Who has a smartphone here, or tablet, or okay? Why is that a printing press? Because you can author content with it. Okay. You can publish that content, and it's important for you to realize that you can reach more people than that the printing press ever did. Okay, that is very powerful. So if you think of it, we have the potential to create another cultural revolution in your pocket. Okay, it's much more powerful than the printing press. But I have some bad news. Bad news are that you already have a printing press in your pocket, okay? As happened in the previous example, if we see technology only as a device that imitates paper, okay, we are now narrowing the things we can do with it. Okay, so maybe we will never be able to cause another cultural revolution. Okay, so the idea of this talk is to think which thoughts are we missing if we see technology only as a device that imitates paper. Okay, because that is what it's doing today. Movies already invented, newspapers, books, okay, photos. I don't see anything new. Maybe it is optimizing all media, but it's not a new media. Okay, the printing press back in that time was a new media because it changed humanity. Okay, so this is what we have today. Okay, and going back to the examples, what can we do to break free of this point of view? Okay, we want to stop treating technology as an imitation of paper. And the key to break free from that thing is to realize what is that that sets technology apart from paper. Okay? Do you have an idea? Anyone? What can you do with technology that you can do with paper? Yeah. Anyone? You can modify it with paper in a destructible way, okay, like I did, but you can. Okay, but I can do a copy of... Anyone? Come on. You're doing it all the time, so you should be able to answer this. The thing that technology can do that paper cannot is to represent dynamic simulations. You can't be dynamic with paper, okay? That's why there are some thoughts that cannot be thought, in paper, okay? Think about it. Technology is able to simulate paper, okay? So one can say it is a meta medium, okay? It is a medium that is imitating other medium. But also, as I just told you, the technology is a medium on itself because it can represent dynamic things that no other medium can. So that's the real power of technology. That's the difference between technology and any other media. First, it can imitate other media, and it adds a thing that other media can do. That is to build dynamic simulations. And that's the thing we do when we code, right? What do we have in Smalltalk? What do we say? We're working all the time with live objects, okay? And if I want to change an object, I just grab it with the debugger, inspect it, and change it. Okay? It's almost like grabbing the object with your hands, okay? That's the idea. I also work in the Ruby community, and imagine this. In Ruby, the main tool for working with code is BI, okay? And again, if you think about media and imitating media, BI is just imitating a typewriter, okay? Yeah. Okay, a typewriter with plugins, that's better, okay? Compare that with what we have in Smalltalk, okay? We almost have the real thing, okay? The objects are alive. I can inspect one through the debugger. I can do experiments on the fly, just like I did with the paper airplane. So please realize that you are thinking better, and the reason is that, okay? You're working with dynamic representations. You're not working with text. Code is not text, okay? And the editor is not a typewriter, okay? So one thing that I would like for you to remember is that every time you use technology, please ask yourself this word. Okay? I am using technology as a tool, or I am using technology to think, to the point that it's an extension of my mind. Okay? And this applies to everything. Okay? When you're working, when you're programming, you're thinking. Okay? And if you're thinking, the best thing you can do is to use the best tool at hand. Okay? So each time you write a line of code, ask yourself how you are using technology, computer or the notebook or the thing you are using at that moment. Okay? Are you writing text or are you representing dynamic things? Okay? Are you using a media that allows you to think better, or are you using a typewriter? Okay? Please do it with each line, because we have to break the mental structures that we have in your head, in our heads, so we can realize this is going on. That happened with the guitar thing. Okay? That happened with the list of words, and that happened in the third example when we were induced to work in a logic way instead of trying to model the bird flights in a kinesthetic way. Okay? So I can now reveal what the title is about, and before I do, I want to show you the last video. Did you hear the car alarm, the chainsaw, and the saw? This is real. That's why those birds are called mockingbirds. They are very good at imitating not only tools, but insects and other animals. And the funny thing is that even though they can fool us, they can fool other birds. Okay? And another question that I had that I want to ask you: what will happen if one of these birds tried to imitate one of that birds? Okay, will that raise an Stack Overflow exception? Okay, so the idea behind this title, which was inspired by a book by Raymond Sullivan, which was a mathematician, is that technology is a mockingbird. Okay, it is very good at imitating all media, other media, and it does that thing so good that it fools us every time. Okay? So what can we do to avoid being fooled by one of those birds? We have to realize that instead of the bird, technology can mock itself. Okay? For example, a Turing machine is a machine that receives a description of another machine and can simulate that, can imitate that. So this is the key to start thinking differently about technology. Okay? This is the reason I chose this title. Okay? So each time you face one of these birds, please keep this in mind and don't let them fool you. Okay? So I have the last and fourth challenge, and suppose that someone hands you a computer and teach you to code. I would like you to ask yourself this question: are you using it as a tool, or are you using this new media technology like no one else did before? Thanks. Questions? Anyone?
Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
The medium is the message.
Ah, okay.
Okay, I don't know if that was intentional.
Yeah, that was intentional. Yeah. This is the this is the story behind this quote. I already told you what this means, okay? And when this guy printed that book, he received the first copies, and the guy that printed it made a typo in the title, okay? So one would expect that to say, hey, please reprint this again, this is an error. But this guy thought this. Like more this version of his quote, because it communicates better the idea behind this, okay? The medium is massaging us. It's like touching us, changing us, moving us around, okay? So that's why he decided to leave the title of the book in this way, okay? It is more graphical, or communicates better the idea that he had behind that title. Anyone? Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the talk. I didn't have time to do it live, but if you want to do the memory challenge, I have the book. So please find me outside, and we can do it. I can assure you it's really fun and it's amazing. So it's really amazing. And that's it. Thanks.